What's up, everybody? I am Rambo Ray, Dallas Empire head coach, and this is an episode of the State of the Empire. Today, we got a special one for you. We are going to be talking about amateurs, a little bit of the team at the end, but we're going to start with the amateur scouting series that happened last week. I kind of wanted to give you guys my thoughts on some of the things I saw, and a lot of the questions in the chat when I streamed really came towards like what are a few questions I saw basically are going to be answered, and I feel like those are very general. So if you're an amateur in the scene and you're looking to improve and possibly be noticed by a professional team, then keep watching. So yeah, let's get going. Really, the main questions I got are like, one, like how do I make it to the pro scene, obviously, but like really what separates and what differentiates pros to amateurs. And there's a few things I'd really want to kind of put the light on. So really kind of talking about the AM series, the scouting series, sorry. It was interesting to see some of these players. Granted, there wasn't anything to play for beyond like pride and really showcasing your skills to the coaches that were watching the players. But still, a lot of the players took it very serious, and I'm very proud of that. It shows that our MC cares and is really kind of pushed himself forward, trying to separate themselves from the pack, which is really cool. Props to the EU scene, man. These guys have so much heart and pride, and they just like I haven't heard comms with that kind of like intensity in a long time. So that was really cool. Props to them. So yeah, let's just start. I'm kind of reading the questions that I wrote down based on what I was asked when I streamed. The first question is basically, what are coaches looking for in amateurs? And there's no real kind of direct answer to that. I'm looking for the total package. If I feel like a player has the ability to make it a pro level, there's a few things that they absolutely need. There's things they don't have. Like when I say total package, like there's like attitude, they need communication levels, and they need the skill. The decision stuff kind of is important, but I feel like that's kind of teachable, which is kind of where the coaches come in and where they can help the players grow to the next level and really understand what the small things are necessary to be at a pro level. And this is from experience of what I saw last year with Shotzi and Illy when they came into the pro scene. So a lot of these things can be worked on. Some of them are probably harder than others, and that's kind of why the baseline is really like, if you're a player and you want to showcase your skill to me or our coach personally, you probably have to have some good skill. Obviously, you need your quick reactions, good gunplay, good understanding of what's going around you, like map awareness. Really, attitude and communication skills are the two things, though, to me that really separate the amateurs from themselves, and also really are the baseline of what really makes a professional a professional. Granted, the communication element can be taught, but still, for the most part, if I'm watching an amateur stream and like if he's going to catch my eye, he's going to have really good communication. He's going to kind of drive his small talk to really make his teammates understand what's happening, what he's trying to do, and then also be able to respond to what his teammates are calling out to make the proper plays at the proper times. Because we all know that Call of Duty at highest level, yes, skill is super necessary and can be a determining factor, but more so your decision making and your intelligence in the game is going to be something that's absolutely necessary to separate yourself from the other pros. So that's probably the main thing. What differentiates the top pros from the pros and the AMs? So like I kind of put three. This is another question. I kind of jump right into it. There's like three different tiers there. There's like, let's say the top pros. Let's say we say the top 10 to 15 players in the league. Then the rest of the pros, and then the amateurs. So like the amateurs in general, like for example, let's say we say the four things. So like attitude, communication skill, game skills, and like IQ, I would say is like your game intelligence are probably like the four things that I would consider like the big ones. Like if we're comparing it to sports, those four things would kind of be like your physical ability, your mental ability, and your stamina and stuff like that. And really your IQ obviously is one of them. But those are the things that I would consider what makes a good professional gamer and also a good Call of Duty player at the professional level. So, and really the intangibles that those are really what differentiates the AMs from the regular pros and the top pros is the top pros have all four of them, or most of them do, or are extremely high placed in at least three of them and maybe like mid tier in one of them. The kind of regular pros for the most part are only really good at two of them. Like that's kind of what I would say really where the bottom line difference to some of the pros are. Like if I have the skill, but I don't have the IQ to go behind my skill, then like my ability to shoot really straight is awesome. But if I don't know what to do with the kills I'm getting or where to position myself after getting kills or even before getting kills, and I have to kind of outskill my opponents all the time, like it's pretty hard to be consistently good at this game or at any esports. And I would say more so in Call of Duty in some capacity, because shooting isn't the hardest thing, right? Like we all know shooting Call of Duty is, I mean, obviously there's a separation. There's some players that are really good at it, and they would outshoot me all the time. But there's some players that don't have that kind of crazy skill that really separates them. And it's all the gap between the top shooters and the bottom shooters in the pro league isn't very high. So yeah, and again, and to the AMs, I would say that some of the top amateurs are pretty comparable to the bottom pros. So I would say like some of the top AMs have at least 2 of these things. But for the most part, like if you want to increase your ability in the game, it's not just about playing a lot. It's not just about watching VOD. It's not just about increasing your personal skill level. Like there's a lot of things that kind of go into what makes professional gaming. I'd say like those 4, you need to have at least, like, let's say we were to look at it in percentages, like you need to have a passing grade in all 4 of those to be a professional. That's kind of the way I look at it. If you're a great skill player, you understand the game, but you can't communicate at all, like that's a problem. Like you're not going to get, like, teams and professionals or coaches like me aren't going to look at you and be like, this player this player has to compete on our team, because that's a huge thing not to have at all. And I could say this, something could be said about each of the 4 things that I described as really things that you need to have, like a quote unquote passing grade to really play at the highest level. And then lastly, what I want to finish on for the amateur side is really, what is the best way to show your worth as an AM to pro teams? And this is the hardest question there is, because back in my day when I competed, the amateurs had a lot of chances to play against the professionals. So for example, like at events, the amateur scene kind of led into pro, the amateur bracket, quote unquote, led into the pro bracket. So if you're a top amateur team, you really had your chance to prove yourself against professional players at every event if you were good enough. And that's not the case anymore. We live in a different time of competitive Call of Duty, and that makes it a little harder for amateurs to get noticed. And again, I'm not going to say it's impossible. It's definitely possible. We've seen a few amateurs from last year make it to the pro scene, and I feel like it's going to happen even more so now because the amateur scene is so strong. There's obviously like the amateur showcase, for example, the scouting series was one way to show your worth. Obviously not the best because some of the formatting and whatnot wasn't ideal, but still, like I got to see some players that I caught my eye, and it's just because of the way they were comporting themselves, their attitude in the game, and again, the 4 things like the in-game IQ, the skill level, the communication, and really just their ability to kind of transgress what's happening in game. And to me, those are huge things. And even though it seems small and there wasn't nothing to play for, it's still something to kind of catch on and get my eye on. But to really answer the question truly, I think the best way for amateurs to showcase their skill is to stream their play, have a camera on, and literally always feel like someone's watching you. And when I say that is because I don't want any amateurs who's trying to make the pro scene to get in a position where they're not trying to improve themselves. They're not trying to improve the people around them. Like that, those are the things, dude. Like it's, for example, like it's not like, again, the coaches aren't watching your stream 24/7. If I happen to come and watch your stream because I hear you're playing a match in challenger scene, or I hear you're playing 8s against pros, and one of my teammates or someone on another team said, go watch this guy because he's really good. If I happen to be, or if me or any other person who's involved in the scouting or signing of any players on professional teams is watching you at the time where you're not caring and you're not necessarily goofing around. Obviously you're streaming, you want to entertain, but like you're really not showcasing what you're capable of. And all it takes is someone to watch 10 minutes, and if you're not actually doing what you should be, if you're not actually doing your best, for example, or you're not performing at the capabilities, or nobody really sees those special things about you, then that could literally ruin your shot for what's, like, not necessarily ruin your shot, but make it a lot harder on yourself to kind of prove yourself, right? So I would say, like, definitely streaming, playing tournaments, obviously winning as many tournaments as you can will get yourself caught on. But me personally, like, this is, again, I feel like I've watched a good amount of amateur streams, and I can get a good gauge if a player has a chance and the ability to make it at a top level as I watch. And granted, those players can change over time, and they can improve on some of the things that they lack. But it's really up to them, and it's really up to you guys as amateurs to really prove yourself and showcase what you can on a daily basis, because that's what you have to do at a pro level. Like, everyone's like, oh, well, like, he was just kidding that time, and he just decided not to play. Like, I can tell you right now, like, when my professional teammates on my team on the Empire are scrimming or playing to improve, there's very rarely goofing around. And if it is, it's because it's kind of like a light session. But for the most part, like even a light session, we're still very much trying to win games. Everyone's communicating, everyone's giving it their all, because we know that there can be a second loss on the game. Because if we lose a couple of seconds and like another top tier team doesn't lose any seconds and takes it more seriously than we do, then that puts us in a disadvantage compared to them. So I hope you guys enjoyed that part and talk about the AM series. Again, like, shout out to the league for running that. I feel like it has a lot of potential. I really hope there's more of them. I hope the next one is kind of we gave a lot of feedback, and I feel like a lot of the players in the AM series have a lot of feedback. So I would assume the next one will be much improved, and hopefully everyone gives it another shot, because I feel like it's necessary. I feel like this is a small thing, or it's not really small. It's a big thing to have for the league and the scene, to really help amateurs and contending players that want to make it to the pro scene have a chance to showcase themselves to professional organizations. And yeah, I'll finish with a quick update. Obviously, we started scrimming we started scrimming 2 or 3 weeks after the game came out. Things are going well. The Empire is kind of looking strong, and we're doing our best to prepare. We kind of have a general idea of when the events are going to start now, and yeah, we still have time to prepare, obviously, and we're trying to improve every day. It's kind of like the same thing as last year. Like a lot of the questions I have is like, do you guys feel like you're favored? And I would say, like, no, dude. Like we have everything to prove again. We're a different team now since the 5v5 and 4v4 change happened. It's a different game. The game plays very different than the previous title with Modern Warfare and Cold War. The gameplay is much, not necessarily slower, but it's much more methodical. It's a lot less forgiving on decision making and team play. So I think it's an awesome game, and I really hope that we can compete at the highest level. And I'm excited for what this year is going to bring for us competitively, and I hope you guys are too. And again, if you guys have any questions, don't be scared to ask me. My Twitter is Rambo Ray, and if you have any questions about what I talked about today or anything in general, I'm always open to answer. I always look at my tweets, and I typically answer most of the people's questions, as long as they are professional and nice questions to answer, you know. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video today. I hope you guys have a good week and a good Christmas and happy times with all the family that's capable. Obviously with COVID, it's gonna be hard for a lot of us, but I wish you guys the best and have a good one. Peace.